Well, hello and welcome to my kitchen. I'm going to make you a fabulous guilt-free chocolate cake. That's right, guilt-free with the word chocolate. Is that exciting? It's the rich chocolate squares out of my Simply Too Good to Be True book number 4. And I've got to tell you, I think it's the best chocolate cake you'll ever eat. Now that's a big statement because it only has 3.8 grams of fat a serve, but you know, you be the judge. I'll show you how easy it is to cook it. So first of all, we start with 2 egg whites. So just separate the yolk. There we go. Now, why I do this is because I'm going to save straight up about 12 grams of fat by doing this, because the yolk has got quite a bit of fat in it. Now, I've never, ever eaten a cake and said, oh, love the yolk in that, it's really gorgeous. No, it never happens. So why put it in? It's like the shell, it's rubbish, I'm throwing it out. So I've got the 2 egg whites and 1/3 cup of sugar. Now we're going to beat this up for 1 minute. You're going to love it. Okay, now one of the secrets to a lot of my baking is that I use apple sauce instead of butter or oil. Now, in most of my books I write that you have 1/2 cup of applesauce in the jar. Well, lately it's actually been really hard to find that because they haven't made the sugar one, the low sugar one. So I've started using this one now. It's a little baby food Heinz, and it's just a fraction under 1/2 cup, but it still works really well, but it's lower in sugar, and I really like that. So I'm going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of bicarb soda, and then I'm just going to mix that up in the can, and you watch, it'll start to froth. See how it's frothing over? That's fantastic. And we just put all of that into the, let me get my little scraper, into the bowl. And it's great because the applesauce actually replaces the moisture that you would normally get from adding the oils or the butter. And of course, no fat. Love it! Okay, so we're going to add that, and we're going to sift the cocoa. So that's 1/3 cup of cocoa. Make sure you get it all in. Great. And we're going to add 1/2 cup of skim milk. See, that's another one we're saving fat on. And just 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla essence just to give it a bit of a sweet flavour as well. 1/2 teaspoon, in we go, perfect. And then we just beat that again till it's combined. Just have it on the low temperature, the low beat. So we mix that all in. And then we're going to add my heat resistance ingredient that really gives this the wow factor for the taste buds. And that's using Nutella. Yes, we want 1/2 cup of Nutella. It really riches up, that's why it's called rich chocolate squares, the flavours, and you get that slight sort of hazelnut flavour to the cake, but it's still very much chocolate. Did I tell you how much fat's in this one? Yeah, it is really good. I mean, 3.8 grams of fat, and it tastes spectacular. All right, so mix that in now. And of course, everyone's going to want to get the beaters, aren't they? There we go. And the last thing we've got to do is put in the sifted flour. I've already sifted it before, so it's all good. And just fold that in. I'm not using the beater here because I don't want to make it too tough for the cake, because once the flour goes in, that's when you really want to be a little bit more delicate so that it's a nice light textured chocolate cake. Mix that through until all that flour's dissolved in. There we go. Yum. And I've set my oven at 180 degrees, fan forced. I'm just going to spray my slab tin. You get 15 slices out of this so everyone can enjoy having a piece. And then we just, let me move that in here, pour that in. Look at that. Look at that. It is gorgeous. Now we do have icing to go on this as well, so once we've baked this, we're going to let it cool, and then we're going to ice it with some lovely chocolate icing as well. Now how long does this go in the oven? That's a good question. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes on the 180. Back soon. Okay, we're back now with the already cooked slice and it's cooled. So now I can just whip ahead and do the icing. It's very, very simple. What I've done is I've already sifted in a cup of icing sugar and 1.5 tablespoons of cocoa. So that's all ready. Now I'm going to add in 2 tablespoons of Nutella. And you just add enough milk to get it to the texture that you want for the spreading of the icing. Alright, so I'm just going to mix that together first. Probably about maybe 1 or 1.5 tablespoons of milk that you need. Be careful though, because if you add too much milk it'll be too runny, so do what I'm doing, just add the little bits as you go. Oh, this looks, that looks pretty good, just a tiny, tiny little bit more. Fantastic. Okay, now we're going to just spread this over the cooled base, and you know, you could always put some sprinkles on it if you wanted, or some coconut or whatever, but I just love keeping it just all about the chocolate. And I find this is a fantastic one when you're really having those cravings for chocolate, and especially when you're trying to lose weight, that you know, you want to be able to have some of this sort of treats every now and then. Obviously I wouldn't be making this all the time, but every now and then it's terrific. So I've just got to spread that over. And if you find this is going to be too hard to resist, and you know, because it's all about serves in moderation, then I suggest you make it when you've got lots of people coming over to visit. But you can freeze it as well. So that's a bonus too. Rich chocolate squares, awesome, awesome chocolate cake. Who doesn't want to have a piece of this with their cup of tea? Actually, put the kettle on, Bill. I think it's time for an afternoon tea. Bye now.